Hello again, whiskey friends. And a very early, well, not too early, 2 days early, St. Patty's Day to everybody. So on today's show, we got Perry backstage from This Is My Bourbon Podcast, and I have poured them an Irish blind flight. The best thing about this, though, is I've actually not drank all the ones that I poured them. So as we explore it, we're going to explore it together. No battle tonight. This is just for the pure blind flight. Let's see what we like. Let's rank them. A, B, C, D. So thanks for joining for today's show, everybody. Let's kick this thing off and get to the fun. Well, without further ado, let's bring on some more panelists here. Now, the first one I'm going to bring on is Kelsey. By the way, this Friday, Kelsey's got his first recorded video review coming out of the Bernheim Barrel Proof. So be sure to come back on Friday and check out Kelsey's new video, root him on, give him some likes, give him some comments. Let's bring on Kelsey to talk about it.
Hey guys. Welcome back. It's going to be a blast being here with Perry. We've been just shy of a year when I first met Perry and got to know him. So it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. And on Friday, yes, I am going to do a review of the new Bernheim Barrel Proof, and not to spoil anything, but just make sure you don't miss it because you're going to want to hear what I have to say about it for sure. So.
And then making his debut next week as well. I think it's on Monday. We got Darrell, who's doing some recorded content now, too. So we got a whole circle of recorded content going to be coming out on a regular basis here between the three of us. This is going to be fun. Let's bring on Darrell.
Hey, cheers, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for another Whiskey Wednesday. Should be a good time. Relax from all the blinds that we've been doing. Well, blind battle, should I say, we've been doing. And just, chill, have some good pours, and just chat whiskey, man. Just have a good time.
And then we have our special guest. Now we got Perry backstage. This is actually our 1-year Friendiversary with Perry a year ago and about 1 week. So pretty darn close to the date. We hung out with Perry in Lexington, had a really good time exploring a lot of Kentucky, had a really good bottle share. It was a great time. And then on top of that too, last May got to hang out at Perry's event that was taking place in Lexington. And Perry really doesn't know this, but I think that was either the week that I started the Instagram or I started the Instagram a week later. But if it wasn't for Perry's event, I don't think I would have had the confidence to do any of this whatsoever. The whole inspiration for everything was watching him play live. The Thrill Is Gone with a very interesting band. I'll put it that way. And on that note, let's bring in Perry.
A very geriatric band, I would say, is probably a better description for that group of folks. But hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Jeff, thanks so much for asking me. Kelsey, Darrell, it's so good to see you guys again, too. It's crazy how quickly this past year has gone. And I know that it's, nothing new for guys who are either approaching or over 30 to say, the years just seem to go by a lot quicker than they used to when we were younger. And sure enough, here I am sitting 5 months away from turning 30 and thinking, where has the time gone? But I don't think I realized that you started Hello Again, Whiskey Friends that week.
It's pretty darn close. I'll have to look at the replay, look at the tape.
Crazy,
but
man.
It's like right around there, man.
That's awesome. Well, Thanks for giving me that credit, even though I don't deserve it. So,
I had a great time that weekend.
I will not accept that full credit. That's crazy stuff.
And some of us are approaching 30 as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just me?
Approaching 30.
Just me.
Yeah, well, I'm approaching a number that stops in 0 kind of soon.
And starts with a 4.
We'll say it's 30.
Hey,
I'm not too far myself.
age is but a number, man. That's all it is.
Hey, I feel
Gotta,
that. You know, I'll be
gotta
young and
enjoy
hurt.
life.
Well, let's say hi to some people here. Let's see who's in here. Who got in here first? Ah, Tim Gorgeous. Happy Whiskey Wednesday, Irish version. But you included the E in whiskey. You got to be careful there. See, I was sure on the thumbnail to only put the Y in tonight's Whiskey Wednesday.
That's funny. Redbreast has the E though in it.
Does it really?
Does
I've
it
never
really?
noticed
Yeah.
that. Never paid attention to it.
Well, it's kind
What
of
do you know?
darker.
Yeah.
You can
Catching
kind of see it.
I stand corrected. I apologize, Tim. The daily, annual, weekly.
Failing me right now.
Welcome
Cheers,
again,
man.
buddy.
It's like
All
a
right,
horror
and we
movie.
got Slapshot. Cheers, buddy. Kelsey, why don't you take the next few?
All right. Let's see who else we got in here. Fifth quarter tailgate. Cheers, Scott. We've got David McAllister. Cheers, buddy. Supporting the Two Bros One Bottle Pit Group. Cheers to you guys. That's my bourbon pot. Well, look at that. Perry's in here too. How about that?
I just had to stop in and say hello to the chat, you know.
Dustin's back in here. Dan S is in here. Eric is in here. Cheers, man. Doug H down in Louisiana. Cheers, man. Good to see you in here. Let's see. Dan S. Roy does cocktails. And of course, Jason, the mash-in drum, is in here. Jason, get some rest tonight, buddy. I know that you've been burning the candle at both ends there. You need to get some rest. And so we've got plenty of time to play with some stuff tonight and see what we think about this. Adam Shelton is here. Sugar Kitty, because that guy is always whack. And our buddy OH, cheers, man. Deborah C, good to see you in here. Dave Oglesong, and I think we're just about caught up. T. Jarrett, and I think we're caught up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I'll throw it back to Jeff.
All right. Well, let's talk about what we're going to be doing tonight. So, one thing that we've been talking about here, and Perry was talking about it a few weeks ago too, but man, the joy of a blind flight where all you got to do is rank what you like and what you don't like. You know, it's just like, just put it in ABC order. And that used to be the drama of these blind flights back in the day. It's like you put a shelfer in the middle of a blind flight and see if somebody picks the shelfer. That was the drama, you know, versus the bottle guessing and everything else. So we don't have to worry about any bottle guessing tonight.
For so long, and you know, I think that when we talk about like the shift in the way that whiskey tube or whiskey culture or, you know, whiskey influencers, whatever you want to, I don't even like calling us influencers because I think it's an overbloated term. But and it's not to point fingers, but you know, once Matt Madness started, it was like, oh, well, there is a whole different way for us to actually engage with it. And not that it's a bad way to do it, but I do think that we kind of stop paying attention to the things that we like or stop paying attention to the things that we really enjoyed about particular pours when we were kind of first getting into all of this. And, you know, I kind of unintentionally guided this flight in the way that it happened because it was because of my comments that Jeff was like, oh, I gotta, you know, let's do something different then. And I do kind of appreciate it because the mental strain, not the mental strain, but like the way that it's giving me a rest mentally from having to be like, oh, well, now I got to sit here and figure out the proof. Now I got to sit here and figure out the age. Like, it's just a nice change of pace. It's a really, really nice change of pace. And I'm excited to do something different.
Nice.
So the other thing I got to tell you, Kelsey and Darrell, I think it was last week on when he was live on Thursday, he was like, yeah, you know, I'm not going to do that whole,
Oh yeah.
Bourbon drinker drinks Irish whiskey generic thing. Like, I'm just not going to get involved with that. And I was like, yeah, you are. You're going to do that on Wednesday.
But like, and I was happy to do it for this. It was just like, I've done that the past couple of years for my live streams. And I was like, I want to do something different. So tomorrow night for my stream, I'm doing pairing bourbon with Irish beers and then just going completely ridiculous, trashy kind of like second half of the show. Can I guess what beer I'm drinking, even if it has green food coloring in it? Because got to be a little festive. But anyway, yeah, I'm happy. Hey, I'm happy to do this.
I was going to say, if you remember, Perry, Jeff and all of us were pretty mean to you first flight with us anyway. We threw the rum in there. We threw all kinds of fun stuff at you that first night.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That was a great.
Chose the rum as the number one.
Yeah, absolutely, it was.
I promise that there's no rum in here. Maybe.
Oh, okay. That's reassuring for sure. I'm ready for it though.
I think that's it, Ethan. Let's sprinkle these type of things in every once in a while. These had their own type of drama. Let's see what people like.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, have you guys poured your samples yet?
I'm all poured up.
All right.
We're all ready to roll.
We have a flight A, B, C, D, and as I said off the top here, I haven't had all these either. So even though I know what they are, I have no idea what they taste like.
So you haven't tasted them at all?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I'm kind of going into this fresh. So let's go into A, guys, and we get to openly talk about it as we go through. That's the best
fun.
part. Hey, we got Mr. Hendo in here. Hey,
what up, Hendo?
I don't know if it's subliminal or not, but Tony Bag of Donuts just popped in here to say hello, and I keep smelling like donuts in this glass. Like a glazed donut. It's creeping me out a little bit.
I could see that.
That smelled good.
Yeah, this is one I was excited to get into.
Yeah.
This is more vanilla forward than like most Irishes that I've had. Usually you're getting that like that super fruity, malty, like citrusy note, from a lot of the main, like Middleton for the most part.
It's making me wonder if there might be some, whether it's like a bourbon barrel influence or if they've kind of done something with their mash bill. Maybe it's higher corn or something to up the sweetness on it.
But I immediately thought bourbon barrel.
Yeah, that was my first note too. Is my mic too loud? I feel like my mic's too loud.
No, you're good, man.
No,
I feel like I'm clipping.
You sound all right to me.
Okay, well, it's just in my headphones then.
Yeah, I need a better mic. I'm the one that's like.
So, Perry, you and Darrell were saying something about the bourbon barrel. What kind of note were you getting that made you think that?
For me, I mean, go ahead, Perry.
I should have just let you go first, man. To me, it's got and I mean, it could be that it's like a younger bourbon barrel, because I still find a lot of those really prescient first use barrel notes to it. I think that the actual char is pretty strong on the nose, but there's also something about it where it feels like this now and this kind of goes into it as well. I think this is probably on the higher end proof wise, because I am still thinking like it's not got that watered down note that I typically get, but I think it's kind of leaning itself towards being like cask strength, and then that bourbon barrel influence. I don't know, it just has more like of the bourbon ishness to it than I was anticipating, especially on the first go round.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
What about
it's
you?
The oak profile for me.
Okay.
Not getting that conventional Irish influenced oak whatsoever. Like even nosiness, knowing that it's Irish, it probably wouldn't have been my first guess. And usually you could tell like Scotch or Irish as soon as you nose them.
The more it sits, you get that sugar cookie note, at least for me.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, I will say the palate is not the same as the nose.
Oh no, really?
Ooh.
Let me try. I haven't even tried it.
Sorry, I
Curious.
ruined the surprise. I got it.
Cheers, guys. The nose is fantastic.
The barrel notes come through though, like you were talking about.
They definitely
more.
do. Yeah, for sure.
What'd you think of the palate then, Perry, with that reaction?
It lost some of that sweety kind of carameliness that was on the nose, and especially once we were talking about that kind of vanilla frosting ishness of it, and it started going like lemon cookie for me. But there was what was the other note that hit me like a ton of bricks? I can't think of it right now. It'll come back to me. I'm a little exhausted. It's been a very long week at work, so I apologize if my tasting notes are not up to snuff. But marshmallow. That's what I was gonna say. I think it shifted a little bit to like a marshmallow note as well. But there's also this like zing right in the middle that was definitely not present on the nose, and I think that's where I'm kind of getting that like kind of lemon shortbread cookie going on with it.
I was going to say the front of the palate was not near as punchy as the mid palate for me.
No, definitely
surprising.
not. Definitely not.
So
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
It's super sweet on a finish. Like it's almost coming across for me as like a wine finished Irish whiskey. I'm not sure what type of wine this would be, but it's coming off wine finish to me.
I'm going to go with Perry on this one. It's this very like Girl Scout cookie, like the lemon Girl Scout cookie for me.
It's definitely the lemon Girl Scout cookie. That was what I was going for mostly on the palate.
Is it drying at all to you guys as well on the finish a little bit?
Yes.
Not for me.
I could see that, but I'm not turned off by it.
I'm gonna say
No, I don't
yes.
think it's unappealing. I just am surprised that it's an Irish whiskey and that it's drying. So that kind of helps me lean towards what Darrell was saying as far as a wine finish being involved.
Yeah, sure. It could be sherry finished.
Or sherry, yeah.
Hendo calling me out. This entire thing is all the Jameson. Hendo always figures me out every time. He always knows my angles.
Dude, I've only had one Jameson bottle, and it was a standard Jameson. I've never had any other offering from them.
This was actually the coffee one. So your notes are kind of right.
I was able to tell if it was that.
If anybody wants to Cinderella a present, make sure you put something that's coffee related in it.
There we go.
I love the smell of coffee bean and like fresh brewed coffee. Just
not coffee flavor. Yeah.
It smells fantastic. You know, I could sit there and nose it forever, but I'm not going to taste it so much.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
Well, why don't we move to Glass B?
I'm down.
Okay.
Sample A, good start, man.
Take a
Strong start.
I liked nose and palate on that. That was nice. It's like an easy sipper. I'll say right around that standard 98 to 96 proof.
Yeah.
Right.
Since I haven't had all these two, I don't know if my order is going to improve or go downhill. So I'm in with the ride with you.
This is a little bit more floral. This is a little bit more floral to me on the nose.
Yeah, this is. I think this leans a little bit more towards what I would expect from an Irish whiskey.
Oh, this is. Holy crap!
So, what are the things that you'd expect from an Irish whiskey?
Moss, 2 pieces of gold being rubbed together between your forefinger and your thumb. So the sound of never mind. Bagpipes. Yeah. No. There is always, and you know, I'm not as well versed in Irish whiskey as I am bourbon, of course. But the best way I can describe it is there is always kind of like a sharpness to Irish whiskey for me. Just kind of like an edge that hasn't quite been rounded off as much as something like a bourbon would have been. So I don't know. Like, I think that this kind of leans a little bit more towards that. And astringent is not the right word, but I think like a bitterness is probably more what I'm thinking with Irish whiskey. But again,
I kind of associate that with a pot still too. Like any
yeah,
pot
for
still
sure.
whiskey.
For sure.
Like
Yeah.
it kind of has a sharper nose to it for sure.
Drifting
that's what I'm
Drams. Drifting Drams, I think you and I are becoming quick enemies, and I'm sorry. This is like the third time that they've called me out on something, and I'm very, very sorry about it.
Perry, meet Ethan Turk.
Hello, Ethan. Oh, Ethan, I know you. Friggin' come on. I just didn't realize that was your screen name, Ethan. I'm sorry. Hope you and Katie are well. I haven't talked to you guys.
And now you know why he's, coming at you every time.
Yeah, I get it.
Troublemaker of the group.
Pot still and unmalted barley. I think that's probably what I'm.
Man, I am digging this
indicating.
nose. Holy crap! Did you guys dive in
here?
I haven't gotten it yet. I'm about to.
Toshi Bake. Cheers, brother.
Oh wow.
5 fingers.
Toshi Bake, 5 fingers. Cheers, cheers.
Man,
There's Ethan. Pot still and
Interesting.
unmalted barley. Indeed. Let's see what Jason's got to say.
the spice.
Spice on the Irish whiskey is an indication of the single pot still.
Oh,
Well, it's
Tropical
definitely
flavors indicate higher
That's-
age.
that's different than I would have thought.
Ooh.
Tasty, but
yeah.
not the same notes you're getting off the nose. Like both of these are kind of completely different on the nose and palate,
Yeah,
for me at least.
yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
I agree with that so far.
I thought this was going to be more punchy. Just the aromas and the nose it seems a little bit more concentrated on this one. So I was expecting that to kind of cross over to the palate a little bit, even though the flavors are still present, just the proof isn't there. It's still, for me, I think probably like under 100 like the first one. But I thought this was probably like a cash strength. The nose is fantastic though. Holy crap.
This to me is kind of characteristic of that bitterness that I was talking about before.
Yeah.
But there's also, and I don't know, also, hi Jason, I haven't had a chance to say hello to you yet, but what Jason was talking about, like those tropical flavors, I am kind of getting a little bit more of a tropicaliness to it. But it's like those candied oranges with dark chocolate over that they've been dipped in dark chocolate. Does that sound familiar to any of you guys? Or
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Those orange slices with you're dipped in chocolate rather than covered in sugar.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my note. Dark chocolate covered little clementine slices.
Okay.
I'm surprised the spice on the palate
I
from
am
this
too.
one versus the first one. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a big spice difference for sure.
Yeah, going in for a second and third sip, it's definitely more proofy for me now than I think because I took a quick sip of water, then kind of dived in and kind of diluted it a little bit. But the proof is kicking up and the flavors are a little bit more intensified. But I do get like that slight orange. I don't know if I'm pulling chocolate, but it's that tangy. Like, and I usually relate it to more like tangerine-ish tanginess.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Versus like an orange per se.
Yeah, I think you're
Hardness.
you're definitely closer to it, Darrell, because I think that my mind just immediately goes to the first like citrusy acidic fruit that I can think of, and that was just orange. But yeah, I think that like a grapefruit is probably more accurate. I don't even remember what did you just say? I'm so sorry.
A tangerine.
Tangerine. Thank you.
Yeah.
When I said, as soon as I said grapefruit, I was like, oh, that sounds like I'm correcting him or trying to one up him on his tasting note. And it was not that at all. I just like that. I thought bitter fruit and I said grapefruit. So
no. And when you said that, it kind of clicked to me, to be honest. Like if you ever got sprayed, like if you're peeling a grapefruit, right, and that juice sprayed into your mouth versus your face, just like it's coming across as like if it kind of like hit the back of your throat and it was just that bitterness of the grapefruit.
Yeah.
on the back end of the palate of this. Like you don't get it initially on the front, on the mid, but literally right at the end, it's that slight bitterness that is more grapefruit forward versus tangerine.
Yeah.
But I'll say more tangerine maybe on like the mid to front.
For sure.
Oh man.
I do get the chocolate though, just all over the finish. Like when I just let it settle, it's all chocolate. It's all sides of the tongue too.
This
like
might be like a oxymoron, I guess, but it's kind of like a milky dark chocolate. You know, like it's just a more viscous dark chocolate, I guess.
Yeah, they have those. Hershey's got like the creamy ones and the
That's
regular
true.
ones.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the grapefruit, it reminds me of like a really hoppy IPA. Like whenever you drink it hot, not so much that it brings in your, but that same type of sensation that a hoppy IPA gives your palate, right? Of citrus. That's what it reminds me of too.
Terry's milk chocolate orange.
Hendo likes the sound of this Jameson pour. You know, he likes this Jameson. I'll be sure to point out which Jameson this is at the end, Hendo.
This is the Jameson orange.
Question though, Jeff. All 4 pours, are they readily available? Because you said you haven't tried them, so I'm guessing that you just picked them up.
I don't know how to answer that actually when it comes to Irish whiskey, when it comes to readily available, because
can you?
None of these are available in Ohio, so I clearly got them in Kentucky.
Okay.
That's a hard answer. Everyone's gonna have to make their own call on some of these brands. I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay.
It won't be like Stacy when Stacy's pulling out things that she got shipped directly from Ireland.
Yeah. It's like a super ancient.
I did get them in Kentucky, so they do come to the United States.
Gotcha.
So we have a question from my buddy Henry. Are you guys thinking about buying my first official Irish whiskey? Do you guys have a favorite red breast cask strength LE release or favorite Irish whiskey that you suggest?
Shooting right for the moon there, I guess.
Oh god! If you're looking at Redbreast LE, that's 27 all day. But if it's your first one, I'm probably going with maybe their regular 12-year, then the 12-year cask strength. You know, depending on how much you like proof. If you like proof, then immediately to the 12-year cask strength.
I would suggest also, which I'd already told him this, but I would suggest the new one that just released from them with the American oak.
Oh, the Kentucky oak.
The Kentucky oak? Yeah, the Kentucky oak. That's a really good pour. It's a really good introduction, and it's a bridge, especially if you don't know if you're going to be into Irish as Irish go. It's a good bridge to me, like from bourbon to Irish as well. So that would be my suggestion, or the cask strength, either one of those.
That's probably a little better, to be honest, because that bottle, I remember initially nosing it, and I was like, wait, what the heck? Like, it reminded me so much of, like, that Calumet funk, like that funky farm note that you get from bourbon, you know, and it doesn't say which bourbon barrels, obviously, they're finishing them in, but it's a Kentucky sourced barrel. But, yeah, it was that similar funky just farm note, and I was like, oh man, I was digging this. And that's a good bottle. That's a pretty good bottle, and the proof's not too crazy.
I like the general advice you guys gave though, like getting something that's finished or aged in a bourbon barrel just helps with that translation process. I mean, Perry knows this because that rum we gave him was aged in a bourbon barrel, and that's why he picked it first, and it felt so easy to transition into it.
Yay me. Yay blinds. Yay blinds.
I forgot what else was in that blind. I just remember I gave that one.
There was a Dusty that was in there too, wasn't there?
It was the turkey, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was
that was
Dusty
the turkey
in there.
Yeah.
I can't remember either. I'm sorry. My recall for like blinds that I've done is so much worse than like recall for pours that I've had. Like I can pretty well remember pours, but like blind flights, I'm like, I don't know, man. It's kind of like taking a test. Like once it's over, it just completely leaves my brain. Unless it's something like really, really just, you know, much like the rum, just left me dumbfounded.
My favorite thing about that, Perry, which I think you could ask me to do it again now and I'd still fail, but you were like, let's do the sign off, Jeff. You start off. And I was like, What's the sign off? I can barely get my sign on right, like let alone a sign off.
The sign off is we'll see y'all next week. But until then, I'm Perry, and then whoever the co-hosts are say their names, and I go, and this is my bourbon podcast, and then the music fades in, and then it's over. It's a good time.
And then you just looked at me, and I'm like, "What am I supposed to say?"
You're not the only person who crumbled under pressure there, Jeff. So don't worry about it, man.
Well, when I came on to Matt's stream the other night, I was like, "Hey, everybody!" He's like, "Why didn't you say your phrase?" I was like, "Am I supposed to say something?"
I can only say it so
Right.
many times before it becomes stale.
I need to take a quick pause. Kelsey,
Yeah.
take over for me, real quick.
All right.
He's
So
coming.
Perry, what would be your suggestion on your favorite Irish whiskey?
No
while we're
clue,
getting
dude.
into there?
Not a single
Not
daggone
a clue?
clue. I don't.
Okay.
I got to be honest with you. I think I had, and I think at this point it's probably been a couple of years. But I had Blue Spot and I really liked it. I know that they're all the different tiers of it and everything. And I don't even remember which like Redbreast cast strength releases I've had, but I've always enjoyed them whenever I've had the chance to drink on them. But for the most part, I'm pretty easy to please as far as Irish whiskey goes. I'm kind of the like, if it was a newbie as far as like bourbon drinkers go, like I'm fine with the Jim Beams of the Irish whiskey world, if that
Gotcha.
if that kind of translates. But at the same time, I do have an adventurous palate, and so I'm willing to try any whiskey once, pretty much. So
I will say though, if you guys can find these, I don't know, they're pretty hard to find. The Blue Spot and the Gold Spot, which is what Darrell was highlighting there, are phenomenal Irish whiskeys. So, but they are pretty hard to find unless you live in a larger market, or know somebody that can get them. But like I said, Redbreast is really the quintessential in my mind. As far as Irish goes,
and I think that seems to be the general consensus for the most part too. So I don't know if it translates exactly, but it's at least in my head, I'm like, oh well, just mentioning something like Redbreast cast strength can sometimes be misconstrued as saying, like in the bourbon world, Van Winkle or Willett Family Estates or stuff like that,
right?
Where it's kind of like people know what you're talking about, people understand it, but it can be very surface level, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So
100%.
So I'm trying. I'm but I always take that little like 1 or 2 month adventure out into the wild blue yonder, and then I find myself like coming back to my rare breeds and my Elijah Craig barrel proofs, and like out of like a sense of comfort and just being like, nah, just give me my cast strength bourbon. Like that's all I need. I haven't had a Knob Creek single barrel in months, and I'm feeling like I need, just kind of like something like that. So a lot of it doesn't really stick with me the way that I probably should allow for it to. But the show's also called This Is My Bourbon Podcast. It's not, this is every whiskey that's ever been made in the world.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Everything like that. But yeah.
What? Come on, Kelsey's gonna be reviewing rice whiskeys here pretty soon. Come on.
Hey, I want to try the brown rice bourbon from Jim Beam sometime. I mean, I've heard pretty good things about it, but I just didn't want to pay. What was it, like $150 or almost $200 for their
that little book.
Their porch drop or whatever they called it. It's just insane. I can't justify that at all.
I'll send you some of it, Perry, but it's JT Mellick. It's out of Louisiana. And I think
I've seen that label before, but
yeah, it is their cast strength. They just released their first cast strength, and it is really, really good.
Nice.
I mean, it's very different but it's not so much so far out of the bourbon world that you can't appreciate it. It's not crafty. It's kind of its own lane, but it's really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Sugar Kitty is comparing. Oh, I see the powers.
Oh, I see it now too.
Now I see it.
Yeah. Sorry, that's why I went silent for a second. I wasn't ignoring you. I was just like, what's happening right here?
Yeah,
my brain
they got
can
some
only
cool
comprehend
stuff.
so many things at once, and having a 2-year-old has really kind of
Oh man,
really accentuated that.
My kid was upstairs ringing the doorbell because she didn't want to put something down that was in her hands to open the door.
Fantastic.
That's why I
Fantastic stuff.
like walk upstairs. I'm like, why don't you just open the door? She's like, because I'm carrying a drink. Makes perfect sense.
Nice.
Kid logic.
What are they doing over there?
Well, did you guys move on to C while I was gone?
No,
Not yet.
yeah,
I'm just smelling it right now.
Just grabbed it to give it a little swirl.
I think what I'm discovering throughout this flight, and maybe I'm rediscovering it, maybe it's something that I've learned before and I'm just reteaching myself, much like, high school algebra or whatever. But as far as like this flight goes, the noses are very bourbony. And I don't know if it's been curated that way, but I'm not finding a whole lot of like dissimilarities between the overall qualities of bourbons and Irish whiskeys.
This one has a Smarties vibe to
Yeah, kind of. I think we lost Darrell. He's been still
No,
for a very long time.
He does this every now and then. It's kind of like Dax from Guardians of the Galaxy, where he tries to turn invisible.
But
if he doesn't move, we can't. He turned invisible. Oh my gosh! Did you see that?
It was crazy, man. He's just gone. Now he's Tobias trying to get in the Blue Man Group.
I'm trying to avoid making any types of jokes around that.
What? That he blew himself too early?
That's what I was avoiding saying, but you said it, so I didn't have to. Thank you for that.
Where's Bourbon when you need him to say that across the screen, right?
Well, I'll quote Arrested Development all day. But yeah, I
he's
think
still
that
there. He's lurking.
Hi, Darrell. But I do think that there is something very similar to bourbon on the nose here. But I will say, the more that I'm getting into it, the more that I am realizing that I was wrong.
It's definitely
coming up at 11.
This one is definitely finished for sure. 100%.
100%.
So this one.
Sorry.
What tells you that? What tells you that compared to all the others?
Taste it.
What did I miss? We talking about proof? Because I thought these were going up in proof as soon as we tasted them.
Just took a. Oh yeah, that is a totally different.
Whoa.
Profile.
Yeah. That
like
that almost comes across driftless a little bit on the palate. It's weird.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
It's really almost crafty. It's crazy.
Ooh.
Man, that's wild.
Interesting.
Like if I did that I am doing that, not knowing what I'm doing, but not knowing what it is. But literally, man, like when I first tasted that, that's the first thing that popped in my head was driftless, like craft. Like
fake it till you make it, Caleb.
Yeah.
It comes across like that. Then you get the maltiness though at the back of it.
Yeah.
It kind of sways you the other way, but on first sip, it does come across like a very similar profile to how driftless is.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think it is. It's the crafty maltiness of it. I can see the angle you're taking. Oh, that's interesting.
And it's
really
drying
interesting for a Jameson pour, but man, they're doing some good stuff.
All right, man. Golly,
Jameson Limited lost at sea or whatever.
Once a bit starts, I'm committed to the end, Perry.
Hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it, man. I usually am too, but my problem is that, especially if I'm recording a podcast, about halfway through the episode, I forget that we did a bit that I thought was really funny, and I've just kind of given up on it. Like, not intentionally. It's just like, we've moved on to something else anyway. But I'll hold on to it. I'm holding hands and skipping down the aisle.
Man. You know, I would say for this one too, it's probably the first one that matches, right? Between the nose and the palate.
For
Yes.
sure. For
100%.
sure. This is maybe taking the top spot for me so far.
I'd have to go back between B. The nose though in B though.
What's that? Yeah. What's that quote? It's like, "What's your favorite whiskey?" Well, it's the one that I'm drinking next.
Well, be sure to save just a little tiny bit of each one. I know we're going to reel into D here pretty soon, but when we get your rankings, I will have a question for you before the bottle review, because I have to have a twist ending.
I'll take a question.
Gotta be.
I have to put it through my publicist first, though. But
now, right before I had to run away to open the door, I did see Copperwolf was in here. I don't know if you highlighted his name, but buddy, if you're still in here, we owe you a wheel spin. Yeah, there we go. So we'll take care of that later.
Yep, I got that up there ready. I'll probably have to go back and forth.
That's getting better. That's getting better and better the more you go back to it, and I really like that.
I think I get more malt on this than the other two.
It's making me want to smoke a cigar while drinking it.
Oh, totally. I can get that. I can get with that.
Nothing too heavy though. I think this is in more of like a shade grown territory. A Connecticut, perhaps.
As long as it's not earthy. I can't stand earthy cigars. I don't know why. It's just not my thing. Like if I wanted some dirt in my mouth, I'd just go lick a pile of dirt or something, but I don't like smoking an earthy cigar.
Kelsey, you're smoking weed wrong.
That Pete.
What's up, Eric Sawyer?
Hey, there's Copperwolf. Hey, buddy.
He's still in the chat.
Hey, DC's in here.
What's up, DC?
Hey, up, DC, the legend.
I appreciated the
himself.
Jim Morrison.
Exactly. That was awesome, man.
I could pull that off.
Absolutely, right?
Is that the next Halloween costume?
Yeah.
Me just walking around naked? Like, what?
Don't show up to the chair competition like that. You'll be all right.
I don't know if I'm that confident, Darrell. We'll leave that one off to the side.
911, what's your emergency? Yeah, there's a guy running around my neighborhood naked, but I guess he's kind of trying to do the Jim Morrison thing. I don't really know. But that's I imagine that in that situation they give you the same warning that they do, or the same justification that they do on the 4th of July, or like 1 week before, 1 week after, where they're like, yeah, they've got until midnight and then they can, then they have to stop. But if it doesn't, if it goes into 2 a.m., give us a call again. Oh. And then you just look out your window and there's Jeff just running up and down the cul-de-sac with.
That comment went right along with that.
Incredible.
Oh, jeez.
Well, guys.
Yeah, sure can, brother. We don't know what they are, so go ahead. Have at it.
I've got no clue.
No, he's asking.
I didn't even know what some of these were before I bought them.
Jeff mixed moonshine with caramel food coloring, as far as I know, on each of these.
We're gonna dive into.
I mean, I've never seen like the moon pie finished Jameson before until now, and then I had it.
We're all very similar in color too, huh?
Hey, Gary's in here too. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Gary.
Right, Jerry. Just got an update, brother. I think I should be receiving something tomorrow. Something absolutely fantastic. Actually, shit, I don't know, because I haven't had that one, but it's probably just as good.
Well, why don't we head into number D here?
Letter D?
spoilers. I already took a sip of D. I just got ahead of myself. But
Did you?
I just didn't even. I completely was just like, well, I'm just going for it, man. I completely bypassed. I would have been disqualified from that madness for that kind of shenanigans.
All right. Well, let's be quiet. I know what this is, but I haven't tried it yet either, Perry. But let's see what everyone else thinks.
Yeah, let's go.
That's good. That's really easy to drink.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So Perry, you had a reaction. What was your reaction about?
I had a reaction like I had just returned home after that months-long journey over to Ireland and Scotland. But maybe this is that stupid rum again. I don't know.
This could be the rum one.
It could be the rum again. No, I think that this is probably one of those that was like intended for a. This is why I don't do well on Matt Madness. You're not wrong, Scott. But I think that this could be labeled as like a good first step as like a bourbon drinker's Irish whiskey.
Okay.
I can see that.
I think it leans a little bit more towards those sweeter notes the bourbon is giving you, and I think that there's the most predominant like sweet note that I'm getting is a powdered sugar. It's even got that kind of like texture of biting into like a powdered donut, I think.
Well, and it really is a contrast to B, which was very sharp and pointed. This is everything is rounded off and nice. It's just I agree with you totally on that.
This has that sweetness of that damn Redbreast I was just trying before the stream. That PX sherry. It's just super, just tamed down, just fruit forward. Just a really, really good drinker. But nice flavor. Like the flavor's not lacking by any means because of the proof, but it's just very, very easy to drink.
Well, and there's not one thing about it that's off-putting to me. Like not one single thing to me that's off-putting about it at all. Whereas the others have slightly things that I find offensive to my palate, but they're interesting in a way. Whereas this is just like straight down middle of the lane. Like everything's nice, well-rounded, easy to drink, like what Darrell was talking about.
Yeah.
This one's the proper 12, Scott. This one is.
I think this even has like a coffee note to it.
Coffee? Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Just a kind of a blonde roast coffee note to it.
On the nose or the palate?
On the palate. Maybe going more into the finish because it's lingering for me more than anything, and it's taken me just sitting here talking about it more than anything. So,
I don't get like when you say blonde roast. Typically, I think of like grassy, earthy, not girthy, earthy notes rather than
earthy too.
But this doesn't come across earthy to me at all, or green, like grassy, like our light roast would come across. But it doesn't. It comes more to me like a Sumatra bean, where it's more chocolate, like cocoa, like a Sumatran style bean.
Interesting. Okay.
I'll riff off of you on this one, Perry. When you said blonde, I actually had something that came into my mind, which is surprising. Boddingtons.
What is
like
that?
the beer.
For sure. Yeah, it's got that maltiness of like a lighter kind of ale, like that tilt between like ale and lager, you know?
Right.
Like it's right in that middle kind of sweet spot for a lighter beer kind of flavor.
But it's got that like creaminess, that nitro thing to it too. Like,
yeah. I'm totally on board with that, man.
There, so I'm missing out on the analogy because I don't drink beer whatsoever. Like I can do like a nice sour or something, but
yeah,
I can't do anything.
No, see, this takes me back to the Universal theme park when I was waiting to get on the Harry Potter train and I was drinking That was double fish and Boddington's in the line.
With the little ones.
There we go.
There was no little ones with us at that point in time.
Oh no.
Don't judge. I don't have to be on a. I don't need little ones to be on the Harry Potter train.
Of course you
Thank you
don't.
very much.
There's no reason for you to.
Oh, jeez.
Well, guys, you can do a quick run through,
All right.
but I'm very interested now in your order.
This is a tough one, man.
It's probably gonna be between B and C for me, but I'm gonna go through them all again. The nose on the nose and A and B are probably my favorite.
A.
Yeah, dude, I went back to A and I'm like,
Oh my
crap.
gosh. I don't even remember it being that good.
No, it's changed a lot. It's changed
Dude,
a
it's
lot.
like
It got darker compared to the other ones, right?
Oh
What's the
yeah,
base
so much darker.
Yeah.
freaking I got what is it? Fried a doughboy, like the powdered sugar on a doughboy.
Oh yeah.
That vanilla, like vanilla powdered sugar. Oh my god, that smells fucking ridiculous.
I've got my order. I'm gonna go. The second and third are super close, like super uber close. C is my first place, but D and A are like pretty much tied for me, and then B was my last place.
Nope, you got to pick one.
I'll go with A second place, D third place, B fourth place.
All right. Cool order. Yeah. Let me know, Darrell, Perry, when you're ready. I'm going to go through these too.
Oh, we lost Darrell again.
And he's gone.
Man, he no, just move, Darrell. Just move so we can see you, and then you
Yeah,
wouldn't be
we did.
invisible now.
What if I move very slowly?
I like how he messages that we might have lost him. again.
Lost me again.
We definitely did.
When
did,
he
buddy.
types that, he sees what's on screen and he knows that we actually did lose him. So the might part of it.
Yeah, that's funny.
Mm.
In the chat, if you guys are drinking any Irish whiskey tonight, what are you guys drinking while we're waiting for their orders? Put it in the chat.
Man, that one hits a spot.
Oh my gosh.
Man, I'm surprised by my order.
I'm struggling with my order. I mean, because I enjoy each of these for nominally different reasons. And
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, like, here's the other end of this thing, right? Yes, it's all well and good for us to be like, oh, what's your favorite? And then on the flip side, it's like, let's go through and let's give valuations to each of these things that we're tasting in each class. But then, like, you do this and you're worried about putting the wrong one last, you know, because it feels like at times like, oh, their palate's not as developed as, you know what I mean? Like, but the thing is, like,
I don't think anybody's going to think that, Barry.
No. I know, but like the anxiety of it, like, there's still that part of my brain that's like, this better be the right answer. Like, I'm
For
not
the
even really a
Jameson-
perfectionist anymore, but like,
For the Jameson connoisseur group, they will forgive you for what variation you put last.
I appreciate it. But you know that the Jameson IPA, whether or not it's in this flight, is still phenomenal. So,
Hey, Todd.
Cheers, buddy. Cheers, Todd.
Well,
it's
Perry.
my cousin. It's my cousin Todd.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've been trying to
You met him
convince
for the
him.
first time. You
I've been
dropped
trying to
yourself in
convince him, Perry, that he needs to come in May. So
Oh,
we need
he
to lay down the
absolutely needs to.
groundwork there.
Todd,
there. What's May?
come in May.
What is May, Perry?
So
Hey,
May is our podcast meetup week. It is it's the whole month of May. No, it's a Memorial Day weekend, starting Friday, basically going until Sunday, with some like bookend stuff here and there, just depending on how long people are around. But it is our meetup weekend for This Is My Bourbon Podcast. It is also the weekend that we are doing a live show. We like to do live shows as much as we can. This year's theme is pairing with Peggy No Stevens, the bourbon women monster of a taster and pairer herself. She is going up in a competition against my co-host on the podcast, Eric, who is the Whiskey Mutant, who does a lot of pairings on Instagram and TikTok and does a whole bunch of really funny, crazy stuff. So you're going to have the really elevated portion of it with Peggy, and then the guy who sounds like you just picked him up off the back of a tractor. Anyway.
Where can they get tickets, Perry?
You can get tickets at eventbrite.com. If you just search for This Is My Bourbon Podcast, there are still VIP tickets available, and there are still general admission tickets available. The general admission is just for the live show, but it's not just the live show. You're also getting a free drink on us, some food. There's going to be some swag that's going to be around from the weekend and the live show. There is a good chance that you are going to be able to what was I about to say? I don't know. I completely lost it. My mind's mush. But we're going to have a whole bunch of exclusives even just for the live show. So it's definitely worth the price of admission. It's probably going to be going at least a couple of hours. The tickets themselves for the live show are just $30. And if you want to get in on the VIP stuff, that's $200 for the whole weekend. That includes a bunch of like exclusive tastings, bottles that you don't have access to otherwise. You have the opportunity to get in with us as we're doing some special recordings as well for our Patreon community. Also trying to finagle some special tastings with like pairings and everything as well. We're going to have a community dinner as well Friday night. But it's going to be a pretty fantastic weekend. We're also working on getting our barrel pick solidified for the weekend as well. I don't want to jinx myself or give too much away, but if you've been listening to the podcast, you've been keeping up with it, you have a pretty good idea of where we might be sourcing this barrel pick from. So check it out by the time we get there. Dana, you are a saint. I will say that. Thank you so much for allowing your husband to come and hang out with us. Because
so I'll drop one more Easter egg here, Perry. So this has been on every video this channel has ever done. But I won this from shaking my booty during your weekend.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah, that's the other thing too. I totally forgot about this. So we're also going to have some pre-show kind of live entertainment. My buddy Drew Crawley, who Yep. Am I saying the right name? I don't think I am. Hold on. Drew. I know a lot of Drews. Drew Crawley. Right? I'm sorry. Out of Louisville. Yeah, Drew Crawley. He's been on the podcast before. I go up to Louisville every now and then and play shows with him. I'm going to be up there next weekend as well. But he is going to be playing some music before the show starts. I'm going to be hopping up and playing with him a little bit too, just as people are kind of filtering in. So there's that portion of it as well. But it's just a very lively weekend. We're going to have a whole lot of fun with everybody. And it's just a chance for us to kind of get together and build community. See, and Jeff's going to be there too. Jeff's going to be there. If you want to come hang out with Jeff and see what it's really like to hang out with him in person, I can guarantee you it's exactly the same way it is parasocially, 100%. Which I think is the true test of character. If you can maintain who you are on the internet into real life in a positive way.
Absolutely.
That's my ringing endorsement of Jeff Wack.
I will say this. I have yet to have a person that's met Jeff in person or online that hasn't absolutely fallen in love with Jeff. Like Jeff is like the most likable person you will ever meet in your life, for sure.
My wife even was like, Jeffrey seems like a really nice dude. And I was like, yeah, he's a really great guy. And I'm really glad you picked up on that. Anyway.
Well, on that note, pressure's on, Perry. What's your order?
All right, my order. Now I have to remember what my order was.
I know. I made you talk for 10 minutes, and now it's like, what's your order?
Yeah, now I got to go back through and do this all again. Which is real bad because I made a little infinity blend of all 4 of them because
Nice.
that's
Well,
how we roll.
There goes the after party.
There's a 2. Oh, come on. You know I'm here for it. So my order after much deliberation and going back for a recount was C, D. I'm struggling with it. A, B.
Damn.
All right.
I'm like the lone wolf over here.
It was tough, man.
Darrell,
it was really,
man.
really tough.
Dude, I have B first for me. Dude,
B
nose
was first for
and
you?
I did
palate.
not like B.
Yeah.
I did not like B.
What?
B
Oh
was my
God.
second. B was my second, Darrell. You ain't lone.
Dude, I got B, C, D, A. B and C were really close. I don't want to say A was like really, none of them were bad by any means, but B just stood out for me. The nose just hit me the right way. I don't even know. It's just maybe the vanilla. I don't know. It smelled more bourbon-esque.
Sure.
than,
Yeah.
Irish to me, and maybe that's what.
The palate on B is what I didn't prefer about it. Not the nose, the palate.
Oh, I dig the palate too. I don't know.
All right. This is
yeah.
interesting.
I really like B.
All right. I'm doing some quick
right there, too.
quick math here.
But C's close. That's more traditional Irish for me. B is like off profile for me.
All of these together turns into like peppermint ice cream. The blend of all 4 of them turns it into peppermint ice cream. It's really nice.
Well, going through this then, consensus-wise, C is the favorite.
Okay.
D actually comes in second, but it's only because it only hovered in the middle. So that's kind of interesting. Then B, then A. So A is last place.
Interesting.
Now, I think A is last place because I think it is the most simplistic of all these. This is the one that I knew going in. I've spent a little bit with this bottle. I was glad to share it with you guys. This is the very first batch of the 12-year Redbreast Cask
Oh,
Strength.
that's a cask strength.
So this is batch 1 from 2018.
Snap.
That doesn't come across. What's the proof?
All of these are barrel proof. All of these are around the same proof, guys. So these
What is
are,
that?
118.
So this
Yeah.
one's 112.
Yes.
Wow, that drink under 100 to me.
Yeah,
But
I was going to
I
say
thought
the
the
same
first-
thing, girl.
I thought under 100 on that. Initially on the palate on the second one, I thought under. Then I took another sip and I thought over. But yeah, I wouldn't have thought that A was over 100 proof. Holy moly.
Well, they're all barrel strength. Every single one of them is. Come on, guys. You know me. They're all going to be barrel strength.
And that was
Yeah,
2018?
I've been hanging on to this one for a while. We're getting through it, though. You
Nice,
can kind
man.
of see where I'm at.
Heck of
So
a
That's
you
really
got
nice, though.
Batch 1. It's literally listed as batch 1, 2018.
So
I don't know
cool.
if my Logitech camera, Perry knows the
I
struggles.
don't know if they
But
made
Now,
any-
I've got the autofocus on though, so which is not going to work.
Well, teach me how to do that later.
It's in the Logitech G Hub settings.
So let's
Jeff,
go
so you
with
Add that.
man, this one's surprising me. So Darrell, you gave this first place, so it got most of its points from you. But no, everyone else kind of.
Threw it in the
I gave it
background.
second place, but it came in last place twice.
Sorry.
The surprising one to come in second, the Blue Spot.
Really? Wow.
Dude.
That's crazy.
A whiskey. Earlier
What
when
is it?
Kelsey said, "Hey
I
Perry,
have
what are some of
a
your
follow-up.
favorite Irish whiskeys?" I said, "Well, I really like Blue Spot," and I put it dead last.
We did
I
say
did
like
too.
traditional pot still though.
I
Did
did
not
too,
think
though. I did too. So that's
So-
one of my favorites. But in this flight,
Pot still, and then the sherry, I think, was what was causing that milky chalkiness
yeah.
at the
Oh,
finish
you
there,
did
right?
all sherry on the
Bourbon
finish?
You were
Yeah, you
calling the
did.
chocolateness. Yeah, you were
I
leaning there the
totally
whole
called
time.
the sherry on the finish.
Bourbon Sherry Madeira. That's the one I said. Like I think it was wine immediately for me. I got more wine than the bourbon.
This is the
That's
one
like-
I'm
what-
interested
which
in
one's your
knowing what it is. This next one.
D is the wild card, guys. Like, I bought D for you
This
guys.
is 2018.
Like, I bought it only because we were doing this, and I was really interested in it. And I need Stacy's take on this after all this is said and done. So,
Wait,
This
wait.
is
We're
a-
on DFC.
D. So this is going to be D.
Wait. Oh, C was Blue Spot.
He was the winner.
C. No. B came in third. Blue Spot came in third. So this is D, and it is a 375 of Kilowin here. Correct me if my pronunciation's wrong here. It's a 10-year. I can't zoom into the wording, but this was finished in tequila barrels.
Oh wow,
Indeed.
that's crazy! I would have never guessed tequila on that.
Dude, she sent me one of those things, a Kilowin or whatever, finished in Tasmanian something. Oh my god, I don't know if she's in here, but oh god, I was probably one of. And she laughed because she sent it to a few people and nobody really liked it. Dude, that may take the cake to your sweaty.
Wait, this one?
That's the bottle I'm talking about. Oh man, that damn Untitled. Ugh.
Oh, the diaper baby garbage, whatever that we drank.
This
That
one
may
just
be
ran
better.
second. What are you
That
talking
actually
about?
is better.
I liked D, but I'm saying
I
he
thought
was trying to
it
think
was
of
a
the name
really
of the
good
bottle.
one. It was my second place.
Right.
I liked D.
Dude,
Now, Perry,
Mine's
I was
fine.
worried when you took a sip and you gave a reaction. I was like, "Oh no, what's this
No, it was
tequila
a good.
finish
It was a
doing?"
good reaction. It was a good reaction. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to indicate otherwise.
Well,
What's
I was
interesting
looking
is
for
that
any type of reaction because it was tequila finish. So when you reacted, I was like, "Oh no!"
And of course, I was the one who, again, just went right for drinking it and kind of totally bypassed nosing it. So good stuff.
after going back and smelling that now, I can kind of get
Kill
the tequila
Owen.
knowing that.
There we
But
go.
it's what's interesting is that was the easiest one out of all four to drink to me. Like by
think I
far,
have
it
to
was the
agree.
easiest, but-
Drax froze on us again
Uh-oh.
Oh,
with
man.
a hilarious, with a hilarious
He looks
face.
No,
like-
he moved.
Oh, he moved.
He moved.
He
He's not
looks
gonna
like
disappear now
he looks like Rocky who just punched him in the face.
because he moved. He's not going to disappear.
Nope, there he
All
goes.
right.
Oh,
Well, I will do the reveal on number one. So what is so interesting about this, and you guys did pick this up, you guys called it crafty. And it's a crafty Irish whiskey. It is.
interesting.
So I want to learn more about this. We got a little bit about this brand when we were talking to Irene,
Kill
but
yeah. Clona
it's
Kilty.
the
Clona
Clonakilty.
Kilty. Yeah.
No,
Clonakilty?
don't know anything about it.
That's a really good.
Clonakilty.
Which one, Jeff? What's it
So
finished
this is a sherry finish
in? I knew it
that
was finished, I just
Irene
didn't know which
picked.
one.
So Irene was on our show 2 months ago, Perry, just for context there. But yeah, this is one that Darrell picked up from us from the Whiskey Mentors here.
Nice.
And this was the sherry finish one, guys.
Nice.
Oh, look at that. Look at that zoom.
Oh, it
Yes.
focused.
Oh,
It
did.
focused.
Which one, Jeff?
The
it
sherry,
C?
the sherry
sherry-
finish one, buddy.
Sample
This
though,
is-
sorry. Let's see.
So this is Irene's.
Which sample though? Is it C?
It's D.
yeah,
C.
C.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Okay.
that was the first place. But you guys were right though when you're like calling it like crafty and everything. I was like, it is relatively speaking. It's the youngest one in the flight.
Right.
Hmm.
It was interesting tasting that. I don't think I got the sherry one. I've got another finished one, but that just like at first glance was so much like the Wisconsin distillery. Damn it, I just lost it. Somebody help me.
The Driftless Glen.
Thank you. My brain was not working.
It's like
Yeah.
someone gave you a barrel-proof Jameson all night or something. Like,
All right. I know you can see it in my
4
cheeks.
ounces
I
of
drink
cast
all.
strength whiskey.
I drink them all.
but yeah,
Can
so
feel
I
it
never
in
opened
those.
this thing, even though we've had it on the shelf for a little bit here. So
Nice.
we got to enjoy
Nice.
it together.
Awesome.
Thanks for opening it.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
But that's the winner there. So kind of keep that in mind. I can't
Heck yeah.
believe it, though, that the Blue Spot and the Redbreast cast strength actually
I'm very surprised
consensus
by
were
that.
last.
Yeah, I'm very
Blue
surprised.
Spot
So
for me,
when Jeff, when you were upstairs and Kelsey was asking me, like, what's my favorite Irish whiskey, I was talking about how, even though I have at least like modest experience with Redbreast and Blue Spot, I still kind of feel like those are the. And I said Pappy earlier. I think maybe it's more like in line with a Woodford Reserve in terms of like the next step up for bourbon drinkers. You know what I mean? For like, what might be on my radar or something like that. But that still kind of feels like very entry level to me. But I could be wrong.
I think the other thing, though, in tasting the Blue Spot right after the Redbreast too, like order makes a difference, and you guys all know this too. But I really think that threw me off as regards, because if I had tasted the Blue Spot first, I think that the Redbreast would have been muted if it was in second place. But I felt like because the Redbreast was a little bit softer, and then you had the Blue Spot, which is a little bit punchier. That's why it came across even more punchy to me. And then you get into the Clonakilty, which is way different out in left field.
Yeah.
On the Irish realm. So the order of it was really interesting to how it affected everything else.
All right. Question here,
What
Darrell.
year is
I feel like you're the only one to answer this one amongst this
Agreed.
crowd, probably. Perry, correct me if I'm wrong, but
Got no
I
idea.
mean,
Could not tell
these
you.
are the best
If-
Irish whiskeys I've ever.
If you held a gun to my head, I would say, I don't know, Jameson.
All right. For me, it's tough because there's so many other better Irish whiskeys out there, and OH and Stacy would know. But from all the ones that I've tried, my favorite is the Redbreast 27 batch 1, 27-year batch 1. There are a lot of favorites. Yeah, my kids.
Selective power outage.
Yeah, 27-year batch 1 was absolutely ridiculous. Donald Rance would say it's like one of the worst things ever, but for me, I enjoyed it.
What's Donald know though?
What's
What's he about? What's he got on us?
Bourbon Bill, I owe you an email. It's on my mind.
Cheers, Bourbon Bill. I have
Jeff,
not.
you're just as bad with correspondence as I am.
I have had the 8-year. I like it just fine. I think that their finished stuff is way better than their 8-year, in my opinion, on the Sagamore. If that's what you were asking. I thought that's what you said. Was I wrong?
I'm sorry? Me?
No, bourbon. Was he talking about Sagamore? Yeah, Sagamore 8-year. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I prefer their port and sherry finished way more than the 8-year.
Man, Stu, that is a tough question.
Batch 1.
I can't do it.
Darrell has
can't
how
do
many
it.
batches? How many
I
batches?
got them
Darrell?
all.
He's got them all. Which one you think was worth the
Batch
price?
Batch 1 and batch 2. Well, God, it's tough because there's so much money, right? But when you just consider straight retail, granted, they're pricey. They're $430, right? But batch 1 and batch 2 in particular are so darn good, in my opinion. And these guys, I think I brought you batch 2 to Kentucky.
Yeah, you brought batch 2, and then you sent us the others at a later
batch
time.
I've tried every batch thanks to you, Darrell. Otherwise, I wouldn't have tried any batches.
Nice.
It's like drinking a fruit cocktail whiskey is the best way to describe those. I mean, the fruit notes are so concentrated on those. It's interesting that it even is considered a whiskey. It's that concentrated. It's like drinking fruit juice to me, in a good way.
Can I divert the conversation for a moment?
Sure.
Please.
can.
Out of curiosity, because there does seem to be a member of the party that is not among us, and I don't know what that's about. Is Garrett okay?
Garrett's okay.
Okay.
Oh, Garrett. No, the cough killed him, by the way. We haven't talked
I
about
was
that.
so
We had to
worried
bury
about
him.
dude.
We had to
I
bury
was
him. Yeah.
so worried that you guys left him on the side of the road.
So to put this in context, guys, when we met up with Perry, Garrett is our friend from Texas, and he decided to come even though that he was very, very sick and was like hacking and coughing.
Prior.
Yeah.
He wasn't sick when he got there.
He got drunk like sorry, Garrett. He got drunk like Friday night, right? And that kind of sent him into a spiral.
Yeah.
No, he knew his family was sick going into it, and then when he traveled with us, it was like day 2, and then it hit him.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
No, he's doing okay. He just took a break from whiskey, man. Is basically
Good
what
for him.
happened.
Oh, good for him.
So
if that's what he
reviews
needed,
beers, man. He's all in.
yeah,
beers
he moved on to beer, but even
ship on us.
now. But here's the thing: he hasn't drank beer in a while either now. So he's basically just focusing on his family, and he's a project manager. So he's a project manager and he's very young as a project manager. So man, that takes up a crap ton, and he's in Houston area. So there's big jobs going on. So he's got a lot going on, but he just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So
I just wanted to check in, just kind of in general, because the last I heard of him, he was hacking up a lung and then some. But yeah, he and I connected a little bit after I met you guys. Have we actually explained, Jeff or anybody, why I was hanging out with you guys at all or met you guys at all? Because I don't think we did. I think we just kind of were like, hey, we were hanging out in Kentucky. Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't just like a chance encounter. I work for a tour company out of Lexington called Distilled Experiences. And we take people to distilleries. I haven't done anything in a while just because I started a new job in September. And I'm still like adjusting to the time of it all. But I am going to be doing stuff on weekends again now. So if you guys want to come back and hang out, feel free to let me know. But
I literally thought you were going to say there, Perry, real quick. I thought you were going to say, I haven't done anything for a while because I took Jeff, Kelsey, and Darrell around, and that just kind of ended that.
It ruined me forever. No more.
I had a really good run for a few months, and then it just, there was something about the summer of 22 where people were not coming to Kentucky and they were only going to the beaches after, 2 years of a pandemic. I couldn't tell you what it was that made them not want to come to Kentucky and go to distilleries. I have no idea. So I needed to find another revenue stream. And so I went back to 40 hours a week with an office job. But I miss doing tours, especially on the weekends. And the nice thing about it too, if you do what these guys did when they came, they kind of had their own schedule made up, and they just told me, hey, we need to be at this place at this time, take us there. And I said, okay. And we did. So it was a lot of fun. And Darrell fell asleep at dinner.
Between Darrell turning green at dinner and Garrett on the way home with his mouth open snoring, that was.
Okay, so I will tell you guys, because there's no way that these people have followed up with anything that I've done since I had them on a tour. But like a month after I had you guys, I had this group. They were from California, and they were hands down the worst tour group I've ever had. We couldn't make them happy. We couldn't get anywhere in enough time. One of the husbands, like he couldn't walk super well. So it became this issue of like, he's unhappy because he's got to walk through a bunch of distilleries, and shouldn't you know that before you go into it when you're planning stuff? Beside the point. But it just was like, it was the most miserable 72 hours because this group of people did not have any self-awareness and thought that we were shafting them because we weren't taking them on the tour experience that we would have given friends or family. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. It was awful. It was so bad.
Dude, that sucks.
Oh.
In their defense, we did set the bar pretty high. Like, you know,
it is true.
A couple weeks earlier.
It is true. It's very uncommon for groups to leave me with a flight that I then do on a live stream the week after and humiliate myself with.
Hey, no, you did well. That was fun.
Oh, dude, you did
It was
well.
delicious.
It was a good flight. Yeah, I definitely enjoyed that flight. But it's so funny because like I wind up when I do tours, it's not quite 50-50. It's almost like 75-25 of good groups to like questionable. Something's a little bit off about them. But like when I had you guys, I was on a hot streak of like just people who were really excited about it and wanted to learn about whiskey. I mean, you guys knew collectively more than I do. But just like wanting to learn about whiskey and learn about Kentucky and find all these things out. And then I'll hit a bump in the road where people are like, does that TV get to the football game? Can we listen to my music? And it's like, just chill a little bit. Like we're in a bus in the middle of nowhere. Like enjoy the scenery. It's Kentucky. It's beautiful out here. Know what I mean? Anyway, you guys were great. I'll give you a 5-star on Uber.
Well, Perry, we're planning something in October, and we'll let you know.
Sir.
Sweet. Awesome. Good to hear.
And then I'm going to see you in
May. Yes. And hopefully other people too. Come hang out with us. We're going to have a great time.
It's going to be
Need
so
the
good.
beats.
Well, Darrell, I know we're into overtime here. Why don't we give poor Copperwolf his wheel spin, man?
Yes.
So, for context here, we did a private stream. Copperwolf won a wheel spin, and we got to do the wheel spin. Darrell wasn't there to do the wheel spin. We got to do the wheel spin.
I was not. Sorry. Let me see if I can zoom in. Move this way. That's
This
pretty
is our
clear.
official prize wheel here.
I need to make it
a manual
so it's not
zoom in.
right
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it nicer.
himself.
Come on, you got the best camera.
I know it's legible, just not as neat.
Whoops.
Wait, why
You did the wrong
into
thing.
me?
Sorry, ready?
I was trying to
Face.
zoom into Darrell.
Ready?
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
what do you win?
Purple. What is that?
I think that's against me.
challenge or collaborate with Mr. Whack.
All right, Copperwolf, your choices
Ooh.
are to challenge me directly or to collaborate with me. Now, to be
Let us
clear,
know.
if you collaborate with me, it's both of our scores combined against Kelsey and Darrell. So do you want to take me on head on, or do you want to tag team with me against the other two? That's a
That would
tough
be a
choice.
bad idea.
It's really
All right.
It's really interesting.
Ryan, you know
Collaborate.
your choices here. We'll talk later.
Don't you collaborate.
I do have to say, like, the weekend that we went, like, my favorite thing of all time was we laughed so much, but Perry has, like, the best laugh in the whole world. So whenever you're with Perry, if you can get him laughing, you will have the best time no matter what, because he has the best laugh.
I'm an easy laugher, but that does not mean that I don't have a good sense of humor. Those two things are not mutually exclusive.
Oh man,
that had to be one of my favorites. And we laughed so much that trip, and Perry was laughing with us. It was a lot of fun.
It was
dude,
so
Perry,
good,
you had the
man.
chili, didn't you? That was the day that I wanted the chili.
Oh, dude, yes, yeah, because we got back. Oh my gosh, that was chili day, because we got back from the tours and everything, and we hung out for a little while, and Jeff was like, "You gotta have the chili." Wait, no, Darrell, you made the chili.
No, Jeff made the chili.
No, Jeff, yeah, you made the chili. That's right. Because I kept asking if you were going to make the chili and bring it to Timbip weekend. And you guys were like, "Oh, you don't understand. This chili is something magical." And I had seconds. So, and we had dinner at Willett with the egg salad sandwich, and it was still.
Well, some of us had dinner.
Well, that's true. Others of us had a nap.
Yeah.
I didn't get sick, surprisingly.
Yeah, I was surprised. That's for sure.
A lot of drinking. All the chili.
All right, Ryan, speedy recovery, buddy. But when you're ready,
let us know.
It's either you and me or you and me versus those guys. All right.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
Well,
Jeff,
fellas,
you want to talk about what's coming up next week before we sign off?
What's coming up next? Oh, we got Dusty Dan next week.
Nice.
And we got Mike Stahl the week after that from Livewire Whiskey. But yes, so next week, I guess would be projected to be a 700 subscriber celebration.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
So thanks for that, everybody.
That's gross.
But yeah, we got Dusty Dan Blind Flight coming up here.
It's going to be a fun one, too. I sent that.
There we go. I was waiting for Darrell to take credit. Darrell is the game master for next week. I don't even know what's going to happen. I mean, it could be anything. It could even be a flight of Jameson.
Pours, that's for sure.
And I'm not even going to talk much about it, but yeah, it's going to be fun. Good times.
Happy sounds. Those
Here's the
like
thing,
happy
Jeff tries to talk shit, but Jeff can't talk shit. Like he's the
I
nicest
can't
guy
either.
that you'll ever talk.
I can't either, dude. I don't have that in my body. Like last year for Matt Madness, everybody was like, "You got to cut a promo, you got to go full WWE again," and I was like, I just can't do it. Like I can kind of fake it, but it's so much more. Like I just want to have a good time. I just want to hang out with people. I can't be that mean unless you. Well,
I think there's a sense of you don't have to be mean. It's just like Jeff is funny because he tries to talk shit, but he really can't, and it's so nice.
Oh, I've resigned myself. I've resigned myself to the fact that I just can't. Like, I've accepted that fact.
Sometimes I feel like I'm way better when I lose because then I'm like, oh, now I can be annoying. Like, 'cause now I've lost. Now I could just poke. I don't have to feel bad.
And the great thing about it too is that Jeff, whenever he gets a little slammered, he just gets more happy. That's all there is.
You're just like me. You turn into a hugger.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's all good.
Well, we still got 46 people in here. Thank you for joining, everybody. Man, we're like a half hour into overtime. I appreciate you guys all hanging around, but it's time to close the show. I
was gonna say it's bedtime for my toddler, so
I'm being beckoned too. So Kelsey, why don't you lead us off? We'll go around in the circle and sign off with everybody.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for showing up tonight, hanging out. Thanks to Perry for coming on. Always a blast hanging out with you, bro.
Thanks so much.
You can find me at Hello Again Whiskey Friends here on the channel. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook under Kelsey Dime. But man, it's always a blast to hang out with all of these people. Darrell, we'll throw it to you, buddy. Where can they find you at?
Yeah, I can't really say too much other than that. Find me at the Whiskey Saint on IG. Continue to follow our journey on Hello Again Whiskey Friends, man. Just trying to bring like just new things and just fun content, man. You know, good. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Just have good guests, fun guests, just fun blinds, battles, just everything else that kind of keeps it out of the semi-norm to an extent, right? You know, to just sit back, relax with all of you and just have a good time. But yeah, just like I said, continue to follow us, and can't really say too much other than that. Over to Perry.
Yeah. If you want to follow me personally, I am at pritter1792 on all social media. If you want to follow the show, it's at My Bourbon Pod. You can check out all of our apparel and merchandise at bourbonshop.threadless.com. You can send us any kind of questions, correspondence to thisismybourbonshop@gmail.com. We have new episodes that come out every Wednesday on your podcast app of choice, as well as here on YouTube. If you want to see me and Eric act the fool on a weekly basis, which is kind of what we do. But we also have some pretty serious whiskey conversations, especially about the state of the bourbon world. This week's episode, we talked about our single barrels are as relevant as they used to be, or as important as they used to be to the bourbon market. And we also reviewed the 2 new age-stated releases from Jack Daniel's, the 10-year-old and the 12-year-old. I know that a bunch of people have those reviews out, but we had a whole lot of fun doing that, so go check that out. And then you can support the show at patreon.com/mybourbonpodcast for as little as $1 a month. We got a Discord too if you want to come hang out with us, but that's only available through the Patreon. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for having me. This has been a blast, and I'm gonna have to return the favor before too long too, and have you guys on a 10-bip live on a Thursday evening. Oh yeah, I go live every Thursday on my YouTube page as well, youtube.com/thisismybourbonpodcast. So
and you may or may not get rum in your flight next time.
I may or may not, and it may or may not throw me for an absolute loop. So
Yep.
So to address 2 comments, Adam, we're game anytime you are, buddy.
Absolutely. Send it on, buddy.
Always interested. And then going down to Bourbon. Jason's not going tonight. I didn't realize that. But that explains why so many people are in here. That's not. But thank you for hanging around.
That'll work too.
But
go subscribe to my channel. Anyway. I don't have many.
Go subscribe to Perry. If you aren't already. I'm there every Thursday too, man. Come on.
Yeah, you are.
All right. And I thought I had one more comment. Oh, I think we're good on that one. So, everybody, thank you for joining tonight. We're going to sign off. Jason or not, somebody else can pick up the slack if they're into it. But we've got to go put the kiddos to bed.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for all the support and everything you guys do.
Goodbye
Perry.
again, whiskey friends.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, whiskey friends.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say